All right, today we're going to follow the journey of a pretty common pill, oxybutynin. And you might think it's just a pill, but its path through our body is actually a fascinating story, one with a major obstacle and a really brilliant scientific workaround. Let's dive in. So let's start with a feeling that might be a little too familiar for some. It's that sudden, intense, I need a bathroom right now feeling. You know the one. That sensation is the absolute hallmark of a condition called overactive bladder. So what's really going on with OAB? Well, it all comes down to this muscle called the detrusor, which is basically the wall of your bladder. In overactive bladder, this muscle kind of gets a mind of its own. It starts squeezing and contracting without your permission, and that's what creates that powerful, frequent urge to go. And this is where the hero of our story comes in, oxybutynin. Its whole mission, its entire purpose, is to get in there and tell that overactive bladder muscle to just chill out and relax. But how in the world does it actually do that? To get the solution, you gotta understand the problem, right? So here's how things are supposed to work. It's a pretty simple chain reaction. Your brain decides it's time, sends a signal, and that releases a chemical messenger called acetylcholine. This little messenger then travels to the bladder muscle and plugs into a receptor, kind of like a key in a lock. And that's the signal to contract. Simple, clean, and you're in control. So here's the difference in a nutshell. A normal bladder, it waits for your command. An overactive bladder, it's like it's gone rogue, firing off those contraction signals whenever it wants. And this is the exact chaos that oxybutynin is designed to stop. So, what's oxybutynin's game plan? Well, it's pretty clever. It travels down to the bladder wall and basically plays goalie. It covers up those receptors, putting up a shield so that acetylcholine, the messenger, can't plug in. If the message can't be delivered, the muscle can't contract without orders. And the result? The muscle finally relaxes. Okay, so problem solved, right? The pill gets in, blocks the signal, everyone's happy. Well, not so fast, because the journey from your mouth to your bladder isn't a straight shot. It's about to hit a massive roadblock, a kind of internal toll booth. This roadblock has a name. First-pass metabolism. See, when you swallow a pill, it gets absorbed in your gut, and its first stop is the liver. And the liver is a very strict gatekeeper. It sees this new chemical and immediately starts breaking a huge chunk of it down. So a big portion of the medicine is destroyed before it ever even gets a chance to do its job. But here's the real kicker. The liver doesn't just get rid of the drug. It chemically changes it. It transforms oxybutynin into a totally new substance, a metabolite. And it turns out this new substance is the main villain behind most of the drug's annoying side effects. And this leads to all sorts of unintended consequences. Remember how oxybutynin blocks receptors? Well, it's not super precise. It's like using a master key that doesn't just unlock the bladder, but also unlocks, or in this case, blocks, similar-looking locks all over your body. This is what we call collateral damage, or side effects. And when you look at the list, it all starts to make sense. The drug's job is to slow things down and dry things up, right? So when it hits the receptors in your salivary glands, you get dry mouth. When it hits the ones in your gut, you get constipation. In your eyes, blurred vision and dry eyes. It's the exact same mechanism, just happening in all the wrong places. And this chart right here is the smoking gun. It shows that the metabolite, that thing the liver creates, is the biggest cause of the side effects. It's not really the original drug that's the main problem, it's what our own body turns it into. How wild is that? So this created a really cool puzzle for scientists. You have a drug that works, but the delivery system, swallowing a pill, is creating all these other problems. The solution wasn't to invent a whole new drug. It was to find a much, much smarter way to deliver the one they already had. The goal became crystal clear. Figure out how to get oxybutynin into the bloodstream without sending it through the liver's toll booth first. If you can just find a way to bypass the liver, you can stop that pesky metabolite from ever being made in the first place. And that challenge led to some brilliant innovations. This is where you get things like the transdermal patch and the topical gel. By putting the medicine on your skin, it gets absorbed directly into the tiny blood vessels right there. It's like they built a secret tunnel that goes straight into the bloodstream, completely avoiding that liver checkpoint. An absolute game changer. So just by changing the entry point, you fundamentally change the entire experience of the drug. The patch and the gel dramatically slash the creation of that side effect-causing metabolite, which means the treatment is suddenly so much easier for people to handle. Whew, okay, that was quite a journey, right? From a twitchy muscle to a metabolic traffic jam to a super clever workaround. So, what are the big ideas you should take away from all of this? Let's break it down. First, oxybutynin's main job is to block the nerve signals that make the bladders spasm. Simple enough. Second, when you take it as a pill, your liver messes with it, creating a byproduct that causes most of the side effects. Third, the patch and gel are brilliant because they sneak past the liver, making the treatment way more tolerable. And finally, and this is the big one, this whole story shows that sometimes how you get a drug into the body is just as important as the drug itself. And that leaves me with one final question for you to think about. When we look at the future of medicine, are we always searching for the next brand new miracle drug? Or is there this incredible untapped potential in just finding smarter, more creative ways to deliver the amazing tools we already have? Something to think about.